we're going. I will tell you that they are essentially the same as what we have for several conventions, and are basically copied after the state convention rules, except for what doesn't apply to the county. Does everybody had adequate time to read it? Can we? Well, I'm just going to see if there's any discussion while you continue to read it. If somebody has a question while you're reading it.
Hey, I'm Jason.
Let's stand up, please. Wait a minute. Yes, sir.
Jason from Precinct 45 again. I'm assuming this has to do with how we're going to actually elect delegates to the state.
Well, there's part of it does. I mean, it's basically the rules for how we do everything. The corporation Robert's Rules of Order, it says who's in charge to make these appointments. It does get in there. There's a clause in there about how votes are taken, if we have a voice vote, and then if we have a division in the House, and we can go paper. It's perfunctory rules just saying how, yes, in the end, we're going, because that's the next issue. Once we get past it, we're going to start electing delegates.
I'm asking for Jeff, layman's terms as well.
Okay, I understand, but I'm just saying it's, that's in essence where it gets to, but it's just how we operate the whole convention.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to move the previous question, please.
There's a question, there's a call for question. All in favor of call for question, so we move on to vote. Call for question, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, we will vote on the rules. We have a motion on the floor to adopt the rules, we have a second. All in favor of adopting these rules so that we can move on to the business, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Good job, Mr. Chairman. You can do it again for the next guy. All right, I believe the next item on the agenda is the report of the nominating committee, what we're fixing to do. I'm going to ask Lyles Williams to come up. Lyles is a former chairman of this county party from a few years back. He's been serving on the county committee for several years. He served on the state committee. I hope none of y'all have had to do business with him lately because he's the chairman of the Workers' Comp Commission. If you had no business, you might have been injured. So I hope you've not had to see him. What we're going to do is we're going to vote on the nominating committee for this is to elect officers. We got 3 elections to hold. So that everybody understands what we're doing. We're going to elect the first 15 members of the county executive committee. Right now, state law requires, allows, that we have an executive committee in every county that consists of 3 people from each supervisor district, and then 3 people at large. And if the committee chooses to, we can expand up to a bigger number. The state party rules for the Republican Party is we can expand up to 36. For as long as I've been around, I'm afraid to say that's too long, but as long as I've been around, the county party's always expanded up to the 36. I would fully expect this committee would do the same. So, we're going to elect the 15 members, that's 3 from each supervisor district, and then they will meet to elect the 3 at large. And to answer any question, that is the body that elects the chairman and the secretary of the party. We don't do that in here. It's the executive committee that elects the chairman and the secretary of the party. After we elect the executive committee, we then will elect delegates from the 3rd Congressional District, which part of Hinds County is in the 3rd, and we'll elect the delegates and alternates for the 2nd Congressional District. Hinds County gets 3 delegates from the 3rd Congressional District to the state convention. We get 21 and a half delegates from the 2nd Congressional District. Basically, the Congressional District drives up I-55 and everything east of us pretty much in this, pretty much, not totally in the 3rd, and there's a little bit more down in the Belhaven-Fondren area. And everything else in the county is the 2nd. People have asked me, I'm going to let you speak in just a minute, Ms. Williams. People have asked me, why do we get 24 and a half? It is by the party rule, we get 1 delegate for every 10,000 population by the last census. And it rounds off. If you've got 94,500 people, we get 9 delegates. If you get 95,500, you get, or 95,500, you get 9.5 delegates. So once you go over that 10,000 mark, you get a half delegate. You get over the 5,000 mark, and then you get a full delegate. This is basically the same number it was the same number in 2012, it's based on the same census. So 3 delegates from Congressional District 3 and 3 alternates, 21 and a half delegates from 2, and that many alternates. Understand again, these people are not going to go and vote for a person to be president. They're going to vote for the 37 people that go to Cleveland to nominate somebody and cast their vote for somebody to be president. So just to make that clear. Mr. Williams for the executive committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure to place a nomination for the executive committee, the 15 people, 3 representing each of the 5 supervisors district in Hinds County. And the following names are the ones we're placing in nomination. Supervisor District 1, Ashley Foote, Drew Snyder, and Lucian Smith. Supervisor District 2, Kirk Sims, Phil Fisher, Philip Gunn. Supervisor District 3, Barbara Rooks Jackson and Philip Scott. And we don't have a 3rd for that slot now, so if there's anyone in the room from Supervisor District 3 that would like to volunteer or offer their services in that position, we would welcome that name. Supervisor District 4, Gerald Kuchar, Stephen Phillips, Tony Greer. Supervisor District 5, Johnny Younger, Lyles Williams, and Mary Landon. Mr. Chairman, we place those in nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Lyles, we appreciate that. We're passing these out. I know y'all listen. The next list gets longer, so I want to make sure we try to get them passed out earlier. I'm going to, if we got any, wait. I've got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Ms. Landon.
I unfortunately live in District 2,
You live in District 2?
500 yards.
You live in District 2, okay. That means we have another position in 5. Is that where we have you in 5? Let me say there is the option for the next 21 positions. If you were recommended for this, I'm sure they would recommend you for one of those next 21 positions. And so you're saying that you're not eligible for District 2.
Mr. Chairman, the speaker was pointing out to me there may be a little confusion here between supervisor district and congressional district.
Supervisor District 2.
Utica divided on both sides.
Okay.
I'm in Utica 2. I'm in Utica 1.
Utica 1 is the one on the east side.
That's in
Okay.
District 2.
Utica 2 is, thank you.
In District
There's
5.
one for redistricting. All right, hold that thought just 1 minute.
We have another 45.
All right, Vinny, you want to?
Kenny Evans.
Yeah, he's his statement.
We did have one more there, and that's Kenny Ellis. So we would make that substitution and place in nomination Kenny Ellis.
All right, we're going to explain that just Mary Landon, former president of the long time active member of the party, does not live in Supervisor District 5. She lives in Supervisor District 2. So the report is to take Mary Landon's name off from District 5. I think it will move over to those that they can serve for the next 21 positions, because there are a lot of those, and replace her name on this report by Kenny Evans. Okay? All right. There's a motion, there's a second to nominate committee report. Any discussion, call for question? All right, wait, yes, ma'am. Somebody stand and speak. I know who you are, but they don't.
I'm Rita Anderson, I'm Raymond Ward. A lot of these things I'm familiar with. I'm certainly familiar with Speaker Gunn. And told him in great respect.
Would you like to see them stand up and recognize them if they're here? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just wondering, is he eligible to be on the committee?
Absolutely. Here's when he becomes not eligible. I'll answer that question if that's the one you're asking about.
That's correct.
All right. The question is, she says she's familiar with a lot of people. Dick has asked me to repeat the question, so I'm going to try to remember that. If I don't, remind me. The question is Speaker Gunn eligible since he's an elected official? The short answer is yes, until the spring of 2019, when he qualifies to run for election again. Because I'm assuming, Mr. Gunn, Speaker Gunn, you'll run as a Republican then. And as such, you have to resign from the committee when you run. If he should be so lucky, and we should be so lucky, that he runs unopposed in the primary, once we certify the nominees 3 days later, he can be put back on the committee. But the law says you can't be on the committee if you're a candidate for nomination. And so right now, to answer your question with the short answer is yes, he is eligible. With the long answer, he would have to resign when he qualifies for office. And our policy in Hinds County, for as long as I can remember, is once somebody resigned and they became the nominee or they were no longer a candidate, they were put back on the committee, basically the vacancy they left. Because the law doesn't address when you can go back on, it just says when you have to go off. Does that answer your question, Rita? Okay. Any other questions, Justin?
Move the question.
Move the question. Justin?
Supervisor District 3, where is that? What district?
I'm going to try to tell you, but don't hold me to the exact side. Your name, please, and
All Stockwell.
all Stockwell, and precinct.
I'm in both.
You're in both. I knew that from both. Supervisor District 3 is inner city Jackson. Basically, we look at Ellis Avenue from the fire station, by the zoo, going down through there, and it goes down into South Jackson. It's all within the city. I can't name you the precincts, but it's inner city Jackson. Got a call? Yes. I got a call for question, but I want to ask, did you raise your hand? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Right.
Noah Crosby from the 6th District.
Yeah,
6th
precinct.
It's the campus of Millsaps in the 3rd Supervisory District.
It is in the 3rd supervisory district.
Thank you for your
Yep, it's in the 3rd. The Bellhaven, wait, let me think about that. Precinct 6. What? Tony would not know. It's where that line draws. It includes Bellhaven. No, it is in the 2nd district. Because precinct 8 across the street's in the 2nd district. It comes down into there and it's in the 2nd district. But it's a good question. Yes, sir.
I'm Nick Tremonti from Byron too. Would you please explain to everybody how these names came to be nominated, how these people were selected for nomination?
I'll take a shot at it. First off, people had to submit a declaration of intent or candidacy that they wanted to be considered to be on the executive committee or on the delegate. Basically, it's been because of what they've done with the parties that wanted to do it and get involved to do things. Some of them have been on the committee before, took a sabbatical, and now want back, or interested in being back. Some, this is their first time around. Some were on the committee this last time. I would like to remind you, I got a call for question, we're going to go to the motion right now. that there are 21 more people to be elected, and they're at large, and we don't have to worry about what supervisor district they're on. If there's anybody in this room who is interested in being on the committee and has a good argument to make that you're willing to come in there and work and that you've done something besides just walked in and voted one day, please tell us when we get out of here, because the committee, the new committee, whoever it is going to be interested in seeing who wants to get involved and work. Yes, sir.
Could you explain a little bit what the committee's responsibilities are and how hard it is to? It's not.
Are you going to withdraw your call for
I'll
question?
withdraw a call for question.
Can I do that? Can I ask a question when you call for question?
I'll withdraw the call for question. Would you?
Okay, with unanimous consent, I'll try to do that. It's a good question, thank you. Oh, yes, he does. Kirby, stand up, say your name.
Kirby
Thank you.
Vogler, precinct 33.
I understand that.
Kirby Vogler, precinct 33.
Kirby, I'm going to try to repeat it every time too. Kirby Butler from precinct 33. The committee has some legal responsibilities that's put onto it by the state. It has some practical responsibilities that's put onto it by the party. Legally, the committee has to certify primary elections in Hinds County. Legally, they have to qualify candidates. If you want to run for office as a Republican, we have to look and make sure that you live where you say you do, that you vote where you say you do, that you're not a felon that's disqualified, that you meet whatever qualifications are required. So we have to certify those candidates. We have had cases where we had to deal with that issue. Legally, we have to certify the election. That's one of the statutory duties of the committee. So that once the returns are in, we finally counted all the absentees and all the affidavits and go through all the process, we have to provide a certification that these numbers are the best that we can tell that they are. If we have a contest, we have to listen to the contest and try to resolve it if we can. Those don't come about often, but if there's a contest in the primary, that's one of the legal duties we have. Other than that, we have the function of putting on the primary. We have to hire the poll worker, we have to train the poll worker, we have to make sure all the materials out, make sure all the stuff comes in and run the primary election. We need to recruit candidates. One of the other things we do is we're supposed to try to help promote the party and build interest and all that. Those are not legal, those are practical duties of the committee. We formed a Republican club 2 or 3 years ago. Had trouble keeping it off the ground so that we could expand it, so you don't have to be on the committee to come in here and be involved. I'd love to see that actually happen. So somebody that doesn't want to sit there and deal with monthly and quarterly meetings can still come in when they want to and do the things they want to. But that's a real quick explanation of it. Yes, sir.
Basil Chisholm, Clinton Ford.
Basil Chisholm, Clinton Ford.
Are all these people here as delegates right now?
No, not necessarily. I don't know if they are or not, quite frankly, but I can't say if they are. You know, it depends on whether they were elected from their precincts or not. I can't say that they are. It's not a requirement.
Those people have gone to a lot of trouble. I would.
Well, you know, I can. What? Barbara Brooks Jackson is not. She's represents. She's over at Jackson State. She's a Jackson State alum, and she's a Jackson State minister. I don't think Gerald Cush is here. Is he on that list? He's here. Okay. Yeah, he's here. Maybe everybody else is here. Okay. The answer then is yes, except for Barbara Brooks Jackson, who's got duties over at Jackson State. Again, let me find Jackson State for their movement. Yes, sir. Move the question. All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're going to do the third district. This is the third congressional district. And the third congressional district, as the chairman has explained, we allowed 3 delegates and therefore 3 alternate delegates. The nominating committee places in nomination for the 3 delegates Austin Barber, Pete Perry, and Ashby Foote. The alternates are Kirby Vogler, Sam Farrington, and O'Neill Wilson. Mr. Chairman, we place those in nomination.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. And I apologize. We have a set of ballots somewhere for that, but thank the Lord, that's a short one. I don't know where the folder is in the let me repeat it again. Let me see your list. And since I don't have it here in front of you, if there's a written ballot, we'll have to pull it out. But from the 3rd Congressional District, Austin Barber, Pete Perry, Ashley Foote. Alternate delegates, Kirby Butler, Sam Farrington, and Bill Wilson. I got a motion, a second. All right, no discussion, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? No. I believe the ayes have it. Does anybody disagree? Wait, let me say, hold your horses. I'm going to rule the ayes have it. Is there a call for division? If so, please raise your hand. One per precinct. And you got to be speaking for a majority of the delegates from your precinct. Am I right on that? Roll call. Okay. Thank you for volunteering. A division, lower your hand. A division can be called by anybody. A roll call requires a different process. All right. The motion is the nominating committee report. All those in favor, please stand. No. Everybody in here gets to vote. This is not one per precinct. If you're here, if you're in this lower group, you get to vote. Voting on adopting the nominating committee report for the delegates from District 3 and alternate delegates. This is, yeah, if you are voting for yes, please stand and remain standing. Please count the standees. Standees.
That's a point of clarification.
Yes.
Only the people in District...
No, anybody can vote. If you're in this lower area, you can vote one way or the other right now. Okay, let's start over. That was a good question. Everybody, all the 98 people that are delegates, vote on this motion. I don't care where you live in the county. You're here, you vote on this motion, yes or no. So all in favor of the nominating committee report, please. Yes. Stand and name.
What precinct is 45?
45.
Talking about this.
Wait, is precinct 45 and precinct 45, yes, what congressional?
What district?
3.
Is 45 and 3.
45 is in 3.
Okay, I want to make a motion.
But wait, we got a motion on the floor. Your motion's out of order. We're voting right now. If this doesn't pass, then I'll get your motion. So let me get that motion out of the way. All in favor? I understand, you might not want to stay standing for what you say.
Well, I want to say that...
Wait, stop a minute. You're not recognized for discussion at this point. Right now, there's a motion on the floor. We had time for discussion on this. I'll be glad to get to you, but then you vote on this motion right now. I hear you, I understand, we'll get there in just a second.
Yeah, I wanted to make a motion you had to be present at this one.
Well, I'm sorry, your motion is out of order. All those in favor of the nominating committee report, please go back and stand up again one more time. Sorry. We're not taking any more discussion until we get through counting this time. I told y'all to turn it off. I told y'all to turn them off. All those against the motion, please stand. With the agreement of the House, we got one more vote than we thought we had people, but since it doesn't matter, I'm going to declare it as insignificant. We got 66 for, 33 against, the motion carries. Yes, sir.
If you mind if I too. You had two gentlemen leave a few minutes ago.
And we had several who were stuck in traffic arrive.
We've had some more.
There were two gentlemen sitting in.
Wait, Dick, I understand other people have come in and been registered since the original Prudential Committee report. If they came in or credential from that committee, they get to vote.
I got you.
I understand. And that's why we were off one more too, because we had some more people coming. Some people that were in traffic had shown up,
That's right.
and even if they weren't in traffic, if they were just whatever, having to late lunch. Good point, thank you. All right, now wait a minute. So that motion passes. We're fixing to move to the next. I have a question. Your question, please, sir. Stand.
Are we?
Stand right.
Jason from precinct 45.
Thanks, sir.
I would like to nominate one additional person for precinct or whatever District 3 is.
I would rule that your motion is out of order because we only get to elect 3 and we just elected 3.
Well, that's what I was asking.
I understand that. Excuse me. There was a motion on the floor. We had to vote on the motion.
All right, I got the motion.
But wait, you can't nominate anybody else in District 3 because we elected all that's available left in District 3. So that motion would be out of order. You have another motion? Okay, sure.
I make a motion that everybody that's going through this nomination process today to be elected as a delegate be present.
I would say first off, that's not the way the rules read. That would take changing the rules, suspension of the rules and changing the rules, because the rules of the state party nor the county party requires you to be present. That is what I started off at the beginning of this discussion is, this is not a stair-step process. You did not have to win at your local level to be elected here. You don't have to win here to be elected there. I think it's even against the party rules, Mr. Parliamentarian.
Well, you can do it 2/3 vote.
You can suspend the rules and then suspend the county for the state rules. Because it's,
You get a 2/3 vote. You can try that vote. The rules don't require a person to be present. So to implement what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
You take a 2/3, take a 2/3 vote of the body to adopt.
I want to put my name in the hat for
Sure.
District 3, which I didn't realize until it was just too late. I would like the people here present to at least vote and tell me no.
excuse me, that motion will be out of order. And I tell you what I would like, and that's what you'd like. I'd like, if you want to get involved, I'd love to see you at any meeting, anytime, any place, and be involved. The fact that we've already voted on that motion, voting on you as an individual against the world does not happen because we just elected 3 people and we only have 3 spots. We also don't have a declaration of intent from you that you want to run as a delegate.
Yes, you do.
Oh, I do? Okay. Possibly we do. You didn't say that at the beginning.
Well,
You-
I didn't really realize what was going on until you all of a sudden passed something that involved me.
Okay. But it is now passed. We're going to move on to the next business. Mr. Chairman, would you come up here and give a report for the 2nd Congressional District?
This list is a bit longer. As the chairman explained a little earlier, we get 21 and a half delegates and 21 and a half alternates in Congressional District 2. So there will be 22 names. Obviously, one of those would only carry a half vote. The nomination for delegates in Congressional District 2 are Anna Roston, Bill Ferguson, Bobby Leggett, Gabriel Rutledge, George Wallace, Gerald Kusha, J.R. Jones, James Smith, Jeremiah Robinson, Johnny Younger, Lee Bush, Leslie Ellington, Miles Williams, Mary Landon, Mike Morgan, Phil Fisher, Philip Gunn, Philip Scott, Renetta Scott, Shirley Matthews, Steve Pickett, and Velda Phillips. Alternates in Congressional District 2 are Thomas Ash, Barbara Rooks Jackson, Bill Dees, Carolyn Morgan, George Matthews, Jim Ellington, John Lewis, Catherine Fisher, Leslie Morton, Lily Lovett,